Hi there, my name is Chris Binding. I'm the Product Marketing Manager here at EMS Software. I am joined by Billy Hawkins, Solutions Consultant who works very closely with our customers each and every day. He's going to run you through the demonstrations here. Today we're going to look at EMS Software's meeting and room scheduling capabilities with a focus on the expert user. First, a bit of context about EMS Software. EMS is committed to providing the greatest depth and breadth of functionality for expert users, in addition to the fastest and easiest way to book a meeting for everyday users. This enables you and your organization to increase employee productivity, attract and retain people, reduce costs, and differentiate your brand. Expert users face a number of challenges related to managing rooms and resources. These can include the under- and overutilization of rooms and workspaces, dealing with rooms and resources that have been double booked, having to use multiple systems or departments to manage meetings, and also having to make uninformed decisions on their real estate needs without the data to support them. Today we are going to demonstrate three particular areas of EMS software. First, we will look at meeting room management, specifically the automated process for rooms that require approval, and how EMS can reduce the number of systems and people needed to manage a meeting. Second, we will look at service provider management, specifically how EMS can help you reduce the number of wasted service deliveries on changed or cancelled meetings. And finally, we will take a look at EMS's reporting capabilities, specifically related to utilization, so that you can understand and make informed decisions on your real estate, facilities, and resource needs. Let's start with meeting room management. First, we're going to take a look specifically at how EMS automates the process for rooms that require an approval. Let's say, for instance, you have a boardroom that can only be reserved by certain people. This process can be handled via EMS very quickly and easily. Any everyday user can make this request online. And as an approver, you are notified of all these requests via your EMS dashboard. Once you approve these requests, users are notified via email and via their EMS profile. This can reduce the administrative overhead needed to manage these types of requests. Yourselves and everyday users need not call or speak to each other in person. And as an expert user, you can really approve these requests in a streamlined fashion and use your time elsewhere. Let's take a look.
As an approver within my organization, I have a number of tools in which to see the activities that are occurring within the area that I'm responsible for. This could be anything from a floor to an entire building to a set of buildings or type of meetings, maybe conferences or video conferences. In this case, I'm looking at my dashboard, which is an interactive option for me to see new requests that have come in that are relevant for me to make approvals or decisions on. In this case, Billy Hawkins has requested a meeting for 12/23 in a meeting room with service orders. I can take action from this dashboard simply by double-clicking the meeting to find additional information about that and whether or not I want to approve this request. In this case, I get to see all the additional information about the meeting and the request, including the location and any features or equipment, catering, etc. that he may have requested. In this case, I see that he's requesting a flip chart. I can go ahead and confirm that from here and send that request back to Billy to let him know that his meeting has been confirmed. But what if I'm looking at the building as a whole, or perhaps my floor that I'm relevant to? We use the book within EMS software to provide that level of information to you. As you can see here within the book, I see all of my New York rooms that are available for me to take action on, as well as the different meetings that are occurring throughout the day and the statuses of those. We color code all of those meetings for easy visibility. In this case, green means any meetings that were confirmed, orange means any that are put on hold, and blue means any meetings that need to be attended to or maybe need to be approved. In this case, that meeting that Billy has requested shows up in blue here as a request. By double-clicking that meeting, I have the ability to go into that meeting and make an approval or view additional information about it. However, you may have noted that hovering over also gives me some additional information as well. Assuming that I am going to approve this meeting for Billy, I simply have to right-click on the meeting and adjust his status from requested to confirmed. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and confirm that meeting. The system will let me know that the changes have been made successfully, and when the system refreshes, as you can see, the item has changed from blue to green to indicate that the reservation has been approved. If I'd like to, I can optionally automatically send a confirmation to the user, or I can manually do that. By selecting this particular item, I can send a confirmation to Billy to let him know that his meeting has been confirmed. I'll print preview that for you to see now on screen. As you can see here, the system will provide a number of details to Billy to let him know that his meeting has been confirmed. It will reiterate the confirmation, his physical location, the meeting information that he provided, as well as any headers and footers that your organization requires for the confirmation message. If there are any pricing or chargeback informations, that information will be provided here as line item totals. This is optional. Once those requests have completed and the reservation has been approved, the system will refresh every 2 minutes. Once that item has been completed, it will remove from your dashboard automatically so that you don't see a list of items that you no longer need to deal with.
What Billy has just taken you through there is how EMS automates the process for rooms that require approval. You've seen how easy it is, as an expert user, to approve, decline, or change these types of meeting requests in a very simple and streamlined process. This helps to save you valuable administrative time so that you can spend your time on more important tasks during the day. Let's now look at another aspect of meeting room management using EMS. Specifically, we're going to look at how it can help you reduce the number of systems and people needed to manage meetings. Firstly, it can help you manage the room booking process. The Reservation Book provides a view of all meetings taking place in any given building or area, with configurable color coding for an at-a-glance view of varying statuses or meeting types. Additionally, you can manage all the services and resources attached to these room bookings. The Reservation Book view also includes setup and teardown times so that you can quickly and clearly see when rooms are actually in use and when they are being set up or teared down. Additionally, you can manage and prioritize these orders for services or resources by their type, by their status, and also by day. Let's take a look.
As an expert user within EMS software, I have a number of tools available to me to manage the meetings of the day, the week, or the month relating to my area, whether that be a building or physical location or an area of interest. In this case, as an expert user, I'm in charge of the New York building, so I get to see all the details of every room within that building. We conveniently color code everything to match visually to the different statuses that occur within your organization. In this case, we have a number of colors on the book here that indicate different statuses of the meeting. In this case, by hovering over a green item, I can see that this is a conference client presentation that has been confirmed for Jessica. It does have service orders, and there are client matter numbers associated. This is useful in financial and legal organizations. As you can see here from the tooltip, I do see that there are services like catering, multimedia, and visitors as well. If I need to make any adjustments to any of these meetings, the whole system does provide drag and drop options for me to move or adjust meetings. In this case, if this meeting needs to be extended by any length of time, I simply drag the slider to a longer time period, adjusting that information. If there are services associated with this, I can also notify my services team automatically when I make these changes by simply selecting a dialog of changing my service time availability. As you see to the left and right of some of the meetings, there are black bars that we call rolling pins. That's your setup and teardown time for your managed services team. This may be an amount of time that occurs before, after, or between meetings that will be required for catering, equipment, or services to be set up and torn down. If I need information about any of these rooms, almost everything within the system is clickable or right-clickable. In this case, Clicking a conference room shows me all the reservations that are going to occur within that conference room over the next few days, or that day in general, as well as room information, images of that room or location, and any other information that you'd like to provide about that room. If I need to, I can right-click on any meeting or piece of information within the system and get a number of options. That can include opening for further details, moving the date forward or backward, changing the status of the meeting, perhaps confirming or reapproving, as well as making a copy of the booking and providing additional days or time periods for that meeting to occur at another time. Within the system, if I find that there's a better place for a meeting to occur, but another meeting is happening in its place, I can provide to swap that meeting. By simply selecting a meeting location, swapping it with another booking, and approving that change, I make that change within the system and see any resource changes that might be occurring. In this case, that technical call and that office training, I wished to swap spaces. If I need to see more details about any given meeting, I simply double-click that to pull up the meeting details. This will show me any meeting details, including reserved services like multimedia and equipment or catering, as well as whether or not attendees were invited through Outlook, what has been requested within the multimedia and equipment, if any client matter numbers or billing information has been associated, as well as performing other functions through what we call wizards.
So what Billy has just taken you through there is how comprehensive EMS is as a system for managing rooms, resources, and services. Specifically, we've seen how you can create rights-based access for your in-house service teams or your external service providers. Ultimately, all of these things, combined with what Billy has shown you today, can help you save time and money using just one system to manage all of these meeting aspects. Let's now move on to service provider management. Specifically, we're going to take a look at how EMS helps you to reduce the number of wasted service deliveries on changed or cancelled meetings. What you're going to see is how EMS can send automatic change notification emails, allowing you to confirm original order details, confirm changes or cancellations, and also provide full details to your services team via the way of an email or attached PDF. Let's take a look.
EMS software provides a console for your service order managers to manipulate and manage their service orders in the same way your approvers have the ability to manage approvals for room and requested spaces. In this case, the server order management console has been set to a catering manager managing the Chicago building. As you see here, there are a number of items that have come into his console to let the manager know items that need to be manipulated or approved. In this case, Jason has a number of items approved for delivery for his meeting. However, Jessica, Jason, and Tara have not been reviewed and need some action to be taken. In the case of Tara, we do see that she has requested sodas, coffee, muffins, a cheese plate, and a fruit tray. As the service order manager, if I'm okay with this, I can simply approve this by changing the state to approved. When I change the state to approved, it does color code those informations for other employees within the system to recognize that that approval has occurred. For example, if I'm the catering manager in charge of building this presentation or this delivery, I may only wish to see approvals, in which case my filtering options would only show items that have been approved for me to take action on and deliver items to those meetings. In this case, these 3 items that require delivery, I can mark by using my states as delivered or being prepared. In this case, I'm going to mark Tara's as being prepared. Because I only concern myself with items that have been approved and need an action, those get removed off my dashboard once I change the state. However, if I'm somebody in charge of delivering those items, I may need to see items that are in preparation so I know that those items can be delivered. For the sake of this demonstration, I'll show all the items so you can see those different colors. With a delivery service that Jessica has requested with soda and cheese plates and a fruit tray, if I need to mark that as delivered, I can also use the system to do that as well. Once those items have been delivered, the color coding changes. All of this information is reportable in different ways, whether it be providing a setup worksheet to your end users, providing a banquet event order for your delivery teams, or even just giving different members of your organization access to the service order management console in order to provide and update these states.
So what Billy has just taken us through there is the service provider management aspect of EMS, specifically how you can reduce the number of wasted service deliveries on changed or cancelled meetings. Billy showed you how you can automatically notify service providers of changes to meetings, which helps to eliminate the risks of forgetting to update multiple disparate systems. If you have one system that manages meetings, another system that manages catering, another one that manages AV, you have to remember to update all those systems. They don't always talk to each other. With EMS, you can handle all of that within one system. This is ultimately saving you valuable time and money on wasted deliveries, as well as time and money on disparate systems that you no longer need. Let's move on to the reporting aspect of EMS, specifically as it relates to utilization. With EMS, you can understand and make informed decisions on real estate facilities and resource utilization. Specifically, you can pinpoint what rooms and workspaces are used for, when they're used, and who they're used by. Additionally, as it relates to services and resources, you can identify rooms or buildings where they are most requested, and also identify needs to increase or decrease your inventory. Let's take a look.
EMS Software has a number of reports for the expert user. In fact, we have over 200 built-in reports within the system. Today, we'll be showing you a couple of examples of those reports. For your services teams or your daily users, we have a number of scheduled room, activity, and setup and service order reports available for your users to run daily. In this example, we'll show you a banquet event order. Within the banquet event order report tool, we have the ability to specify areas of interest for those interested in the banquet event order for the area in which they are working. In this case, I'll choose a date range for my banquet event orders and print preview. As you can see, the system generates a one-page per event of all the items that occur in that event. In this case, the employee information, the event information, as well as the needs of the meeting or event itself. You'll note that there is a delivery service from 12 to 1, which is different than the actual start and end time of the event itself. When we look at other reports, such as room utilization, we get to see different types of areas that have been used by your employees or events. In this case, I'm choosing another date range, and I'm only showing the Chicago building in this respect. Now, you'll note that all of these items are grayed out because I have memorized this report. One of the features of EMS software for the expert user is the ability to memorize commonly used features of the report for future use. In this case, without changing any settings, I can simply print preview on my memorized report and see room utilization for the report period I have asked for in the area that I am responsible for. In this case, the Chicago Broadway location. This particular report can break utilization into different levels of percentages. In this case, low utilization, normal utilization, and if there were a high utilization, we'd also see that. I get to see the number of bookings, the hours used, the hours that the room was available during that time period, and the percentage of utilization. If I associate cost to that room per square foot or per square meter, the system will also calculate the amount of utilization costs and the vacancy cost associated with that room or location. If I'd like to break this down even further, I can choose a seat occupancy report. This particular report refers to the amount of people that attended the meeting in actual attendance numbers. This particular report interacts directly with other services like automatic room counting or even manual entry. In this case, I do have a memorized report where I'm only interested in the Chicago building, and I only want to see events that include meetings. When I preview this report, I get to see the capacity of the room itself, the amount of bookings for my date range or time period, the amount of seats that were available in those rooms, the estimated attendance that was gathered from the everyday user when they made their booking, and the amount of attendance actually reported. In this case, the actual attendance here varied by the amount of entry that was put into the system, and we calculate the result of that attendance level. For the setup worksheet, your managed services teams, such as catering, AV, housekeeping, etc., may need to see a daily report of items that need to occur for those meetings. For example, delivery of catering services, setup and teardown of your room, whether it be delivery of equipment or actual physical changes to the room layout itself. In this case, I can create memorized reports for any one of my teams or sets of teams or even individual members, and those reports can be generated and directly emailed to them. In this case, I'm choosing a date range of 3 days. I'm looking at all of my areas in this case, and I want to see video conferencing equipment and multimedia that needs to be delivered. This particular memorized report would be useful for my services team. When I review this report, I do get to see a breakdown at a per meeting level, including the start and end time and what items need to be delivered. We break this down into different resource categories based on who is involved and who needs to be notified of that delivery. If you wish, we can also include further information about who's hosting the meeting, the event, and their contact information, should your services team need to contact the host of the meeting directly. As an expert user within EMS software, there may be times that you need a report that isn't predefined within the system. That's where the Query Builder comes into play. Our Query Builder gives you the ability to specify any field entry that we have within the EMS software system and create your own dynamic reports. By editing or creating a new meeting within the Query Builder, you simply choose the fields you'd like to see in your report and filter and sort appropriately. You can even chart that information in a number of different graphing options. If I run this report, it's going to ask me the standard pieces of information that all reports ask for, in this case, the date and time. Let's take a look at what that looks like as a chart. As you can see here, I've created a report called Bookings by Building, where I'd like to see all the events and bookings by a particular building location. In this case, when I look at Hong Kong, Los Angeles, Alpharetta, and Chicago, I see low numbers of bookings in those areas. However, New York and London have a large amount of bookings during that date range. If I'd like to further manipulate this information, I can do so directly from Excel. I simply choose to export this information, and as a Gold Certified Partner, the system will automatically import that information into Excel in its native format for future revision.
What Billy has taken you through there, among many other things in the reporting aspects of EMS, is how comprehensive it can be as a system to report on your meeting and room scheduling operations. It can help you to inform real estate expansion or reduction decisions. It can also help you inform the types of meetings or workspaces that users need and want to use. And lastly, it can help you track hourly usage of resources. This can help you identify the ideal inventory levels and stay on top of any maintenance needs that may be based on hours used. So in summary today, we've seen how EMS can help provide the greatest depth and breadth of functionality for expert users for their meeting and room scheduling operation. Specifically, we've been able to enable you to automate the process for rooms that require approval, reduce the number of people and systems needed to manage meetings, reduce the number of wasted service deliveries on changed or cancelled meetings, and help you understand and make more informed decisions on real estate facilities and resource utilization. Specifically, this is resulting in increased productivity and a reduction in costs across your operation. Thank you for listening, and thank you again for your time today. Goodbye.